Hi, my name's Logan.
And, who am I? How did I get here?
Okay. You are Logan number 2,
Okay.
and you just popped out of me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm here for that.
Okay. Yeah, you are here for that because that did just happen. Cool. Hey, welcome to Marketer's Cut, take 21, like the popular card game.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not restarting the episode. I've said it, and
Yeah,
it's out there.
you said it. That's true.
We're a podcast about movie marketing, and our own marketing, which I argue is not really movie marketing, but just dumb shit we say. But maybe it could be.
No, sometimes it's good.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, this week we're talking about the newest blockbuster release, Godzilla vs. Kong, that hit HBO Max on March 31st, and also hit theaters at the same time. And you might expect that we're going to do Godzilla or King of the Monsters or an old Godzilla or something. But no, we're going to pair this one with Alien versus Predator. Part of the Versus movie the trilogy, I guess. The other big one is Freddy versus Jason. We didn't do that one.
Yeah, that one. Well, because this one's like Alien versus Alien. Okay. And then this other one's like Alien Monkey versus Alien Lizard. They're still kind of aliens.
Okay, no, I don't think Godzilla and Kong are aliens. The movie makes it very clear they come from the Hollow Earth.
I guess that's true. They're not aliens, but like
They're Earth boys.
Weird Earth mystical boys. They're mystical like aliens. And
Okay.
Freddy and Jason are not mystical. They're just murderers.
They're just mean dudes.
They're just really mean dudes who like blood.
Yeah. That movie slaps, by the way. I saw it when I was like 7, so it's great. Maybe I was older than that. But yeah, let's get into Godzilla vs. Kong, because we have a lot to talk about today. So Godzilla vs. Kong. This movie was directed by Adam Wingard. Here's the quick IMDb synopsis. The epic next chapter in the cinematic monsterverse pits two of the greatest icons in motion picture history against one another, the fearsome Godzilla and the mighty Kong, with humanity caught in the balance.
They could have just said the monkey
king?
and the lizard fight.
Oh, they said the mighty Kong. They could have just said the King Kong. You know?
Well,
they're really averse to saying king in these movies.
It's like and then they said something about him, and then they said the name. And technically his name is Kong.
I guess. Who named him that?
You told me when we were watching Skull Island that one of the one guy named him.
I think John C. Reilly named him, which if so, like, good job, John. But I'm not sure. This movie opened, like I said, on the 31st of March. The budget, it's approximately $160 million. It's an expensive boy. Opening weekend, though, so this is where things get interesting.
Wait, can we talk about... It's expensive because they destroyed a whole fucking town.
Yeah.
I think $160 million is... I mean, that seems modest for the damage they did.
Yeah, so we're talking about who won, like Godzilla or Kong, but I think we can agree that Hong Kong lost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I don't think that's enough movie to cover the damages.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily how budgets are spent.
Well, I think if you're going to damage the whole town, you might as well pay for it.
Well, if they did damage the whole town, that is true.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So anyways, the opening weekend, things get interesting here. So this movie pre-COVID was projected to open to about $68 million. It was delayed a whole bunch, and finally it gets this HBO Max COVID release date of the 31st. Well, it actually was like the 25th or something, 24th, and it got pushed back a week. Mm-hmm. And then this release was expected to hit around $23 million. And the opening weekend actually was $48.5 million, which is still less than that initial projection. But given like where we are right now and what it was projected to hit, like that is huge.
Yeah.
Our friend that works at a theater says that like this movie hitting theaters and doing as well as it did was for at least that company like a sign of hope for the future of theaters moving forward. Which like I've been saying this whole time, I think theaters are going to bounce back like nothing ever happened. And this is kind of a sign that we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's made 285 million worldwide so far. I think Variety or Deadline, I should have remembered the name of the publication. They estimate that the movie, I think, needed 300 or like 320 million to break even. And if it's making this in its first week, or a couple weeks, I think it came out a week earlier in China, which it did really well there. If it's making this like that early, it's gonna break even and even make money.
Well, I thought that the budget was 160 million.
You have to factor in like marketing cost.
No.
You have to factor in the delay costs.
Well, why didn't they?
Because that's not how budgets are. That's not how budgets work.
That doesn't. Hey, this is how much the money.
Marketing budgets are never included in the movie budget. Ever. You always have to kind of guess.
I mean, I guess, but like, why?
Because they're not.
This is how much it took to do the whole damn kit and caboodle.
I know, but it's not what it takes to make the movie. Marketing is a separate beast, which I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit more about marketing budgets later, because there's some interesting stuff with this movie.
Okay.
But yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention is that this was a pandemic record for opening a weekend box office. Now, I know this is saying like for COVID-19, and I haven't checked the numbers, but I would also argue that this is probably like an all-time pandemic record, you know? Like I don't think a movie during like the Black Plague made more money than this.
I mean, you don't know.
That's a huge deal to have that all-time record under your belt.
Okay.
Another thing I want to talk about is like how it hit HBO Max. So this movie did make a ton of money in theaters, and also like we watched it from the comfort of our own couches on HBO Max, and I know a lot of people that did that as well. So it's easy to assume that it would have made more money in theaters had things been normal, because a lot of people clearly wanted to watch it. And one thing that's hard to assume is how well it did on HBO Max, and how that even benefits the movie, and how that even benefits Max, if that makes sense. Streaming services keep everything so close to the chest, so we don't know any like hard numbers, but you can kind of make the assumption that like this either drove or helped sustain subscriber numbers, which is big in the streaming world and everything.
Or maybe cause new signups.
Yeah, like it could have brought in new people, which is always great as well. Yeah, so I mean, overall, this movie is looking like it's going to be a huge success so far, and like not only for itself, but for the theater industry as a whole. I think it's going to kind of be remembered as like the turning. I hope so. I hope it's remembered as a turning point. You know.
Yeah.
Cool. So Rotten Tomatoes, things are still early. I mean, it's enough for like these scores to kind of be settled, but it's got a 75% critic score and a 93% audience score.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep.
I think it's pretty solid. And cinema score, which we got because it had a big release, an A. Also, I get it. Like, you're going to see this movie, you want to see a monkey punch a lizard. The monkey punches a lizard.
Yeah, he does do that.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about like the solid, real marketing about this movie. The first thing I want to talk about is kind of what we said about marketing budgets earlier, how they're never included in the movie budget. Movies do still have marketing budgets, though. One thing I noticed is I was seeing a lot of ads on Twitter and maybe some other social media that was advertising Godzilla versus Kong, and also the next movie of this like Warner Brothers HBO Max partnership. You know how like all the Warner Brothers movies are coming to HBO Max this year. I saw a lot of ads saying, "Watch Godzilla versus Kong now. Watch Mortal Kombat on April 23rd or something." And it's kind of a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for a streaming service. But one thing that kind of caught my eye was that you're not going to like mix together a marketing budget for Mortal Kombat and Kong. I don't think. These things are handled like separately, so I don't think they're going to like pile them together. So I would assume that advertising came more out of a HBO Max budget, if that makes sense. Which honestly means that there's some spin to marketing this movie that I don't think would even be counted towards like whether or not Godzilla versus Kong is breaking even. Now, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but just given like what I know about how like budgets work, and given how this is such a weird situation, I do think that like that's something that it makes sense for HBO Max to spend and be accountable for. If that makes sense. I thought that was kind of interesting. Another thing, which kind of framed how I decided to look at this whole Godzilla versus Kong marketing research, is that in May 2019, the first teaser poster was revealed at Licensing Expo. I was like, what's that? I looked it up. It's a big conference called Licensing Expo. It takes place in Las Vegas every year, normally in person, but in COVID times it's been having virtual events. But it serves to connect entertainment and brands with licensees, manufacturers, and retailers. Sounds very boring. It's not like a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that the poster was revealed there because I think it kind of shows where the focus for Godzilla versus Kong was. Like they're focused on making that licensing money.
Yeah.
Which is why they revealed this here and make a big splash here. Just to get an idea of how big this conference is, like Activision, Bethesda, Dr. Seuss, Funko, Hasbro, Coca-Cola, BBC, BuzzFeed, Crayola, and more are all regular attendees. It's kind of a big deal.
Well, so aren't Godzilla figures? Those are big deals.
Well, yeah, they are, and that's kind of what I was going to say too. Is that there was a lot of buzz over leaked toys, like action figures, and Playmate toys. So in April 2020, there was a leak, and some pictures hinted at Mecha Godzilla appearing in the film, which again drove a lot of buzz, and more toy images were leaked in July. And again, just kind of drove me down this rabbit hole of toys, merch, stuff like that is a big deal for Godzilla and Kong, which makes sense. But again, I didn't expect it to be this centered around that. So I found a press release.
Okay.
From, so it's from the people who manage the Godzilla and Kong franchises, not necessarily Warner Brothers, because they're just distributing the movie and stuff. But so it talked a lot about what they were going to be doing in terms of licensing. One thing it says is that International Toy Titan Playmates has been named the master toy partner. I just love that phrase, master toy partner.
Isn't Playmates the one that makes that little yellow and red car?
I think so.
It's just so weird to imagine that car and then also to imagine them making Godzilla toys.
You think Godzilla could fit in that car?
I don't think his foot could fit in that car.
Okay. Fair. So it mentioned some organizations or companies that they're planning on doing partnerships with. One is BioWorld. They're a preeminent designer of costumes. Funko, obviously. 60 Out, which is an interactive live-action adventure escape room. And VRC, virtual reality company. Now, I looked up the 60 Out thing, and this never ended up happening. I could not find anything past this press release of a Godzilla or Kong escape room.
That would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing. But I honestly wonder if COVID affected a lot of these plans.
Yeah.
It's very possible. But here's a great quote from James No, the Executive Vice President of Franchise Management. We are also working to expand this program into gaming, fashion, sports, food and beverage, and more in order to create additional entry points for fans to engage with these two larger-than-life titans. And fashion, I'm interested in. Food and beverage, I'm interested in. I think that's I didn't even think about it, but sports. Sports is even more interesting.
You got commercials, and it's Godzilla and Kong, and they're playing soccer.
Have you seen the picture that's kind of circulated on Twitter of Godzilla playing basketball against Kong? He's backing down Kong.
No.
It's really good.
Oh my god.
It's not official yet, but it's really good. So another thing is the Godzilla vs. Kong publishing program, which is being rolled out by Legendary Comics, will include 2 graphic novels, an art book, novelizations, and children's books, offering fans a chance to delve deeper into the adventures of the great Godzilla and mighty Kong. There's a lot of stuff focused on licensing and merch. And
yeah, again, makes sense.
That concludes my segment, Merch Squad. It's okay to say it, I promise. Cool, we'll talk about the trailer now. What do you think about the trailer?
I watched the trailer and I said, yeah, that's what happened in the movie. I mean...
Did you don't have anything interesting to say about it? The music choice?
I don't even remember.
It had, the hip-hop style, really intense, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I just thought it was. I mean,
And the music
I was
dropped.
like, this didn't spoil anything for me. It showed me what happened, mainly a lot of fighting stuff, which was the best part of it, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is a trailer, and I didn't feel like they made any stupid decisions. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people loved it. The trailer was a hit. It was released on the 24th, and it became Warner Brothers' biggest trailer debut ever, earning 25.6 million views in 24 hours
The 24th of what?
on January
Chickens?
24th. The 24th of chickens on January 24th.
Of what year?
2021 this
Okay.
year, the current year. 15.8 million from Warner's channel, and then there was additional 9.8 million views from the studio's like secondary channels. So it's a ton of views. It was a big hit. I remember this trailer was memed like crazy on Twitter. There was the whole monkey thing. You remember that?
No.
Oh, it was really funny. Because it was like who would win, like Godzilla or Monkey, and they were spelling Monkey Monke with no Y.
No, don't. I actually work most of the time during the day. I'm not.
So do I.
I'm not on Twitter that much to know these memes.
I mean, my bathroom break, Twitter breaks.
Yeah, I don't spend that much time on the toilet.
Okay, well, it's a little personal for our fans. Let's move on, please. The poster for this movie, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think the poster looks dope.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It's not necessarily blue and orange. It's more blue and red, but it does have that like blue and orange like vibe, like the opposites. So it's not necessarily like new or interesting, but it just looks badass, and that's all we need from a poster like this, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's pretty much all the real marketing stuff for Godzilla vs. Kong. Now I want to hear your ideas. Do you want to hear my ideas?
I'd love to.
Okay. My first idea is, you know me, I'm always watching my late night shows.
You never are.
I'm always watching Colbert,
Yep.
Seth Meyers, Jimmy
Yeah.
Fallon,
Uh-huh.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
I'm a big Jimmy boy.
Yep.
Always watching them, and I was really disappointed when I didn't see my favorite movie stars, Godzilla or Kong, appear on the shows. And I get what you're saying. You're looking at me and you're like,
That's a good idea.
Logan, they can't fit in the studios.
No, it would have been a good idea.
Okay, well, you're also thinking it would have been a good idea, but they can't fit in the studios. But like, all the studio visits now are Zoom calls.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, you're saying all these things. No, I've already thought it through. I mean, you just have a drone, you go up, and Godzilla's doing an interview. He's also destroying the town a little bit, maybe eating some people, but like...
I mean, that's what he does.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's hungry. He's got to snack on something.
Exactly.
And it's either that or it's Cheez-Its.
Why Cheez-Its?
Because I love Cheez-Its, looking out for that sponsorship. So hit us up, Cheese.
No,
It's
I don't think.
okay. Now, do you have any ideas?
I don't think it should have been... What's the tagline again?
One will fall.
Yeah, it should have been...
Oh wait, we may spoil stuff here, so if you haven't seen the movie, walk away.
I'm not going to do spoilers.
Okay.
I would just named it Lizard versus Monkey.
Then name the movie that, or made the tagline that?
No, the entire title of the movie. I'd love to have seen this merch.
Now, okay,
Where's
listen.
this merch?
We always talk about how to market like these movies,
What are these movies?
like the movies we do. All
Yeah.
right, but we never talk about how to market. Like when a big movie comes out, and then you go to like Redbox, and you're like, hey, this movie like looks like that big movie that just came out, but it's not the big movie that just came out. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, like a knockoff.
Yeah, like a knockoff. It's kind of like how I don't know if you remember it, but like Inside Out came out, but like a year before Inside Out came out, there was this short film that was like the same idea, that was kind of like stolen, but just made faster
Okay.
than actually Inside Out was.
I don't remember any of this.
Oh, well,
Okay.
we could just make the movie Lizard versus Monkey and talk about how to market that.
Ooh.
How do we compete against Godzilla versus Kong with Lizard versus Monkey?
That's true. We use like an actual lizard and like an actual monkey, and like
Yeah.
we do the damn thing.
Yeah.
I felt like I had an idea at some point, and now I don't feel like I have an idea. So that's always really good for me.
Okay. Well, I have another one. All right.
Okay.
You get a really big dude. All right.
Okay.
And you put him in a monkey, you put him in an ape gorilla costume. You put him in a Godzilla costume. A Kong costume.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Put him in a boxing ring and set it up in the middle of Times Square. Because I've never been to New York. I assume that's how Times Square works. You just set anything you want there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then charge people to come in and get their ass handed to them by Kong.
And you think people would pay for that?
Maybe. I mean, he could beat the shit out of them. That's one thing. You could also pay a little bit more if you just want to get spanked by Kong. I think a lot of people would pay for that. You don't like that idea?
No.
I think a lot of people would pay for it. Yeah, I mean, what would you pay for?
Not zero.
Zero?
Zero.
Oh.
For all of it.
I think I'd pay for him to play like a nice game of chess with me. And he'd like knock over the pieces and I'd be like, oh, I win by default. And I can tell everybody I beat Kong in chess. That'd be fun.
I guess. What if, okay, so listen. Kong can't swim. That poor little monkey. What can't Godzilla do? How can we disadvantage Godzilla? I want to see an alternative thing. Okay.
Godzilla can't fly.
Well, neither can Kong.
Yeah, but you give Kong
wings. Oh, that'd be cool.
Flying monkey.
No, and I think that's where you go to the sequel.
Oh, okay.
At the end, they should have started giving Kong wings. And they should have, let's say you've got the licensing. You're selling this monkey everywhere.
Yeah.
After the movie is out and people have seen it, you then sell the wings that you can buy and add to your Kong action figure.
Ooh, little add-ons, attachments.
Uh-huh.
Cool. I have one more idea before we move on, I think. And it left my head for a second, but it's just right here. I can feel it.
We're talking about wings. What can't Kong do?
Yep. Well, now I'm not remembering it at all. And that's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a pretty good one. But we can move on. Maybe it'll pop up. Maybe it'll pop up later.
And we can just cut it in?
We can move on. Yeah, I'll just cut it in right in the middle here. Cool. Well, I will never remember that idea, but let's talk about Alien versus Predator now. Okay, so Alien versus Predator was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, not to be confused with Paul Thomas Anderson, the director of Boogie Nights.
I considered that.
I made a little funny joke about it on my Letterboxd review.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
Yeah. My friend Reagan liked it. Thanks, Reagan. So the synopsis of this movie: during an archaeological expedition on Buvetoya Island in Antarctica, a team of archaeologists and other scientists find themselves caught up in a battle between the two legends. Soon, the team realizes that only one species can win. Ooh, spooky.
Well, can they? Can only one win?
I mean, technically, no. Because, I mean, this movie came out in 2004. Like, I would say that no one definitively loses in this movie.
Okay, you just did that, technically, but I want you to do, like, the real thing. Do the boy voice.
No, I'm not doing the Ben Shapiro voice on our podcast.
No, not that one, the little boy.
Oh, the little boy? I'm not doing that.
What does he say? Just tell me what the word is.
He says apparently.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Apparently.
I just couldn't remember the word. Thank you.
Okay.
You can even cut this out. I was like,
no, I'm not cutting it out. People need to know.
Actually, what does he say? It's apparently.
Okay. That's a great video. Maybe we'll share it on our Twitter this week for no reason whatsoever. This movie opened on August 13th, 2004. Did you get the year that time? 2004?
What do you mean, did I get it?
We'll get the other time. You're like, what year?
Yeah, well...
Because I didn't say the year, I know, but like...
Oh, you said it was the 24th. The 24th of what? The year of your life? Like, I don't know.
I am 24. So this movie has a budget of $60 million. Way cheaper than the Lizard and Monkey movie.
Yeah.
But also 17 years ago. So who knows what $60 million then was. Nobody could figure that out. I don't know anybody who understands inflation or calculators.
Okay, can we talk about how... I mean, it just means that slime they use, that gooey goo, that I hated the whole time, is really cheap.
Maybe it was like Vaseline and water.
No, it was... Okay, now I keep picturing it. Let's keep going. Keep going.
She is referring, of course, to the slimy goo that fell off of the Aliens bodies and faces and mouths. So this movie's opening weekend was $38 million. Domestic was $80 million total. International, $97 million. And worldwide, it made $177 million. Again, because money is different based on the year you're talking about it in. I wasn't really sure what that, meant. But when this came out, it was the highest grossing film in either the Alien or Predator franchises worldwide.
Wow.
And it still is the highest grossing film in any of those movies except for Prometheus.
Interesting.
Which made more worldwide. Yeah, definitely interesting. People were starving for some Predator and Alien carving. All right. So interestingly, this film was not screened in advance for critics, which normally is a sign that they don't want critics to say, "Hey, this movie's bad." And then we look at the Rotten Tomatoes score and it has a whopping 20%. And surprisingly, the audience score is 39%.
I mean, a lot of people really wanted to see it.
It's not a good movie, though. Let's be real. It's
that's
really dumb.
true, but it's for it to be the highest grossing, and they're like, man, this movie's so fucking stupid. Let's go see it again.
I'm gonna be real here. I don't know if I've ever seen a full Predator movie. I think I've seen bits and pieces of the originals with Arnold and everything.
I didn't know Arnold was in it.
Oh yeah, he's the main boy.
Arnold
Palmer. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the only Arnold in Hollywood.
I was thinking about Hey Arnold.
Oh. I don't know why, but I would love to see Arnold versus Predator. Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold.
I don't know if that's a good impression.
I just said it. I mean, they just shout at him. That's the whole beginning part. It's just the kids in the street shouting his name, saying, "Hey Arnold." I'm just a kid yelling.
Okay. Well, kid yelling. Let's continue, please.
Okay.
But anyways, as I was saying, I am not very familiar with the Predator franchise. I did see this movie though, probably when it came out or when it hit DVD or something. And this was my, up till this point, it's still my main point of my main touch point with what a Predator is.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized watching the movie a couple days ago that it's just a dude in a suit. And he runs. He just looks like a middle-aged dude running.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine the other movies don't make the Predator look so not badass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they take off the mask and it's that's kind of cool. But
Yeah.
also, I can tell you're a human in there. And, the alien's nothing like a human. You don't look at that and say human. You say, hey, that's an alien for sure.
It's like in The Irishman when they de-age Robert De Niro and you watch him, kick somebody and it's oh, that's an 80-year-old man kicking somebody.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it looks like when the Predator does anything. It's oh, that's a 40-year-old dude just awkwardly moving around in his Predator costume. Anyways, yeah. Critics didn't like it. Audiences didn't seem to love it. Cinema score was a B, which is okay, but normally a movie like this, I think you would expect to do better.
Yeah, I think so too.
So yeah, James Cameron, who was actually working on the 5th Alien film, as this movie was being developed, said that this film would destroy the franchise validity, and it actually caused him to stop working on that 5th Alien film.
Wow.
Which would eventually become Prometheus, but that didn't come out until 2012, I believe. So yeah, he wasn't a fan. I understand why. But the concept of Alien versus Predator wasn't new. There was a 1993 Super Nintendo game called Alien versus Predator. There was another game or two, I believe, before this movie came out. The idea originated from a comic book in 1989 called Alien versus Predator. And it was also hinted at in Predator 2 where there was an alien skull that was kind of displayed as a trophy on a Predator ship. I bet that was just kind of, that wasn't predicting the eventual Alien versus Predator movie. It's just hey, we own both these properties. Let's do this little cool thing.
Yeah.
But now it's lore in a wide universe of aliens and predators. Cool. Well, I don't have a ton of real marketing stuff. Let's talk about the trailers and posters, and then I'll go into my little thing, which don't read now, please. But yeah, what do you think about the trailer?
It's fine.
I think it's bad.
Honestly, I don't even listen. We watched the movie, and I'm not really sure what happened. And we watched that trailer, and I don't remember a single bit of it. I remember
It is the most forgettable movie.
Yeah, I don't care about it. I don't care about it. The poster wasn't even that cool. Didn't.
Yeah, well,
I almost want to say I hate it.
okay,
But
well, you can say that.
No, it seems extreme to say it.
It's too extreme to say you hated it. I feel very indifferent about everything about this movie.
Yeah.
Posters, like, I don't give a shit. Trailer, it's like, trailer for what? And the movie, same way. So I guess you could say that the poster and trailer are accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go.
Forgettable.
Accurate and forgettable. Cool. Well, we kind of covered that. We could talk a little bit about the tagline, which I think is bad. It's whoever wins, we lose. And it's like, you're kind of telling the audience there. It's like, doesn't even matter. We lose.
Yeah, none of this has any consequences.
Yeah. When I think, and this was never like official messaging for Godzilla versus Kong, but there was a lot of like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't give a shit who wins. Like, I'm getting to see a monkey and a lizard fight. I win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
And that should have been kind of like the same case with this one, but no, whoever wins, we lose. I think, again, terrible tagline. But so I did find something very interesting, though. Another sort of press release kind of deal. Remember, this movie came out in 2004. This article, I'm just now realizing, was posted on our birthday, October 8th, 2004. Which now I believe was probably reposted or something because this came out before the movie. But here we go. They did a promotion with a company called Mobile 365. Or it's in England, so maybe, like, do they call them mobiles?
I don't know.
Mobile 365? I don't know. Anyways, it was a deal and offered film fans an exclusive wallpaper and ringtones for their mobile phones. The mobile content could be obtained by texting Alien or Pred to 83200. Don't try it. I already tried a couple days ago and I got nothing back, unfortunately. But that system registered fans' text as votes on which character they wanted to win, which, like Godzilla vs. Kong, did a Twitter poll, a promoted Twitter poll for that. I feel like I should bring this up. They did a promoted Twitter poll and I voted in it, obviously. And then they did a thing where the Godzilla vs. Kong account, like, posts and tags you in it, and it's like, oh, you want Kong? Cool. We'll remind you when the movie comes out. And then when the movie came out, they, like, posted again and tagged me in it. And said, hey, the movie's on HBO Max now, go watch it. And they do the thing where you don't put a period before, like, the at the beginning, so it doesn't show up in the actual Twitter feed. It shows up in their, like, mentions and stuff. So, I mean, it got me engaged. It was kind of cool.
Interesting.
Obviously, this Alien vs. Predator thing was before Twitter, so they were limited to text on mobile phones. I think it's really funny because this article mentions that each text message costs participants 25, is it pence coin? Whatever, 25 cents, essentially, in British speak.
In pounds?
It's not pounds. I mean, in 25 cents, a quarter of a pound, I believe, is what this is. But I just think it's so funny that it's like, hey, guys, vote for who you want to win, Alien or Predator, and you do have to pay for it because texts aren't free yet.
Well, I mean, that's what you had to do for American Idol, baby.
I do remember texting in to vote for American Idol.
Yeah.
Which, again, is why I love this press release, because it's such a snapshot of 2004.
Yeah.
And, like, just what a great time.
Yep.
And here's a quote from, I got to get the name, from Russell Tarr. And he was the country manager for Mobile 365's UK and Ireland operations. He said, we're thrilled to be working with Fox on this blockbuster movie. Not only is this an entirely unique platform for combining innovative mobile promotions around the film, but also Fox will be able to build a huge mobile marketing database, enabling them to market new films directly to users in the future. So what he's saying there is like, yeah, we'll do this with Fox. People are going to text in because they want to vote for Alien vs. Predator, but now we have their numbers and we can text them about new movies coming out, which, like, that's a marketing strategy that did not last long, I don't think. Because, I mean, have you gotten a text about a movie? Ever?
I didn't text for Alien versus Predator.
So we were never in the database.
We were never in the database.
That's right. We avoided that awful string of marketing communications from Fox there. And I'm almost done with this one last thing that they said. And, because these press releases, they're trying to get people, like, excited about what's happening. Not fans. They're trying to get people interested in like the business or the industry, like excited or impressed or something. So they're trying to like say like, hey, this is a good marketing strategy and plan. Here's why. It said recent figures from the Mobile Data Association show a continued rise in the popularity of text messaging in Britain. Despite a traditionally quiet period in August, a total of 2.19 billion person-to-person text messages were sent across the UK's 4 GSM networks during August.
They think because of Alien versus Predator?
Well, no, that was just saying that like text is a viable platform because it's becoming more popular. And I just thought that was also interesting because this is the time when a press release had to convince somebody that people text.
Yeah.
Just like they didn't know what we know now.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it's just interesting. It's great. Cool. Well, let's hop into our marketing ideas for this movie that we don't care much about. Shoot.
I think, okay, so this only works for the alien part. You know how you're at a party, you're 4. You're always 4.
Yeah, I do remember being at parties when I'm 4.
Okay, and then you get the little thing and you like put it to your mouth and you blow in it and it like sticks out.
Uh-huh.
But the outside looks like an alien and you blow it and then the little tongue comes out, the little tongue alien.
The little tongue mouth.
And that'd be cool if like you're super pumped, you're texting all your friends about this party you're having, Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, you gotta have your party text budget. You gotta budget out how much it's gonna cost you to text all your friends. But yeah, I get you.
And then so you get those blowers for the Alien fans. You need something for the Predator fans. Again, it just looks like a middle-aged man running around. What do you have any ideas? I mean, maybe you have like fake guns. They love guns.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas for that? Maybe.
More party ideas. Well, so party favors are always cool. If we're gonna stick on the party route, which like everyone is having their Alien versus Predator party.
Well, I want you to think of I thought of the Alien thing. I need you to think of the Predator thing.
Oh, well, I have another Alien thing.
Okay.
And I was thinking like Alien Goo, because everyone wants to be gooey like the aliens. So you sell.
Okay, let's stop talking about parties. Do you
It's
have
like
any other
Alien
original
Goo.
ideas? That isn't about goo. Can we not talk about the goo, please?
Well, you just take the goo and you rub it all over your body.
No.
And then the predators try to catch you and they can't because you're just so gooey. And you're just slipping all over the place, slipping and sliding. A slip and slide
No.
that's filled with alien goo.
No.
And that's what you use to trap the predators.
No.
The aliens okay, so aliens lost in this movie kind of. And they could have won this shit if they would have just set up Goo Slip-n-Slides.
Yeah, I do think if they would have kind of went like, they spit out all their goo and then like they were slipping all over it. Yeah, they probably would have eaten those predators real fast.
Yeah.
Real good.
So I need more predator party ideas. Are wigs something at a party? You get like some little wigs.
Yeah.
You get like the little predator, like hair tentacle things.
Okay, some hair tentacles. Okay.
Yeah. Look like your predator boy. Obviously a mask. Everyone's got a mask.
Oh, well, wouldn't it be cool, actually, if the thing I said, scratch it. You have an alien mask, and then you have the little blower thing, but it's just the little alien tongue part. And so, like, you're both picking your people. You got your little alien tongue. You got a wig if you're a predator.
We got to make sure the goo is not toxic, because people are going to want to put it on their alien mask, and then it's going to get in their mouth. And, like, if it's toxic, it's going to hurt them. And we got to make sure it's not. I just wanted to make a note of that because we're gonna do this goo and like we can't fuck it up. Do you have any other ideas that are non-party related?
I don't want to talk about anything anymore. I'm ready to end the podcast now. I don't want to think about those words that go GOO.
That go GOO?
No.
Okay, well, what's something that we think this film did poorly in the trailer?
Everything.
Damn it.
I think the movie itself was bad. It's hard to make the trailer good. I maybe made it a little bit more suspenseful, maybe. Made it more about, like, oh, shoot, we're in this weird maze thing. Is that a predator coming to get me? Is that an alien coming to get me? Like, you saw that little alien baby pop out of the egg in all of its GOO. And I wasn't that scared. I mean, I knew it was going to attack somebody, I guess, but...
Okay, here was my idea from earlier, which also works with the Alien versus Predator thing.
Okay.
So even though I kind of thought the human stuff in Godzilla versus Kong worked really well for what it was. A lot of people are like, all the human stuff sucks. And I will say the human stuff sucked in Alien versus Predator. It was awful. You get these movies, you're pitting two legendary pop culture icons against each other, okay? But they normally can't carry a movie on their own. You know, like, you can't watch an entire movie that's just Godzilla. You'd get bored.
No, we've seen it. We've done it. Where it's just Godzilla? You mean, like, just him?
You can't watch it. No. Like, we're no humans. Where it's just Godzilla or just Kong. Like, you'd get bored eventually.
No, I'd be into it.
Okay, well, some people, I'd get bored eventually.
Okay.
So you need to have humans somehow. But everyone keeps complaining about the humans. So the best answer is to take a popular group of human characters from another franchise and just go ahead and make it a triple franchise blockbuster. You know? You're moving Godzilla versus Kong. What's a franchise that's been ramping up? Every time a new movie comes out, it just gets wilder and wilder. And they can be thrown in to be the ones that bring some human levity to the Godzilla and Kong fight. The Fast family. Get in Vin Diesel. All the other ones.
Okay, and then for Alien versus Predator, it'd have to be the Stranger Things kids.
Yeah, 'cause they weren't around at the time. Now, I would say, if you want to pick another one that's around at the time, the Fast family was around at that time.
Nope.
Okay, let's finish this up. What's a good family tagline for Godzilla versus Kong?
There isn't one.
Let's see. It's not just about lizards and monkeys. It's about family. And then you got the Alien versus Predator one, and it's like, despite how Predator keeps trying to kill Alien and all the alien goo, they're still family.
No.
And boom.
No.
I just feel like
I can't believe we waited on this idea, and then it came out of your mouth, and it sounds like this.
I did hype it up a lot, and that's something I've learned I should never do with any of my ideas.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay, well, we're running over time. Are you ready to end the show?
I was ready to end it when you kept talking about the GOO.
I just think the GOO is like a great idea. To sell some GOO in the world, and it's amazing. Okay, so this was an episode of The Marketer's Cut. Thanks for sticking with us through the Goo Talk and through all the other great ideas. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Marketer's Cut. Find the podcast anywhere you can find podcasts or on YouTube. Learn more at marketerscut.com. I want to thank Jacob Wall for his art. Find more of his work on Instagram at Jacob Art Wall. And tell a friend about us. Tell your mom about us. Maybe your friends are having an anniversary and they need something to do to celebrate. Tell them. You wouldn't want to forget to tell them how to celebrate their anniversary, so tell them about our podcast.
Yeah, I wish my dad listened to this podcast, but it's just my mom, and it's their anniversary. Mom, please make Dad listen to it. Maybe he'll like the monkeys and the lizards fighting. I feel like he'd be into it.
Okay, well, that's a great way to end the show. I'm gonna bring up the music now, and I'm gonna role play as somebody in England trying to text in my vote for Alien versus Predator. Oi, blimey! I got text in my vote on my mobile. You look like you're dying.
This is my last episode.
No.